Welcome to the 2014 UMBO World Juggling Federation Overall Championship from SkillCon.
Over the course of this 8-day convention, we've seen some of the best in the world competing in over 20 different events.
From sign spinning to b-boy dancing, flair bartending, yo-yo, finger tutting, esports, badminton, cornhole, and sepak takraw. SkillCon is the World Juggling Federation's destination for their 10th annual series of juggling competitions. Get ready to see the best jugglers in the world square off against each other for the largest first place cash prize ever awarded in juggling competition history. I'm Penn Gillette.
I'm Adam Candy.
And I'm Jason Garfield.
Join us as we witness the most incredible juggling you'll ever see, starting now.
Welcome to SkillCon and the 2014 UMBO World Juggling Federation Overall Championship. Right now, the Las Vegas Modern Kung Fu Club is performing the opening ceremonies of this largest payday in juggling competition history.
$7,000 is on the line for first place, but the scoring system is incredibly strict. And we're joined by the lunatic who created the rules and the World Juggling Federation itself, Jason Garfield.
Thanks, Penn. Now, the overall championship is comprised of 31 separate events, and the competitors' cumulative score from each of these events determines the placement in the overall championship. It all leads into these final 3 short programs for balls, rings, and clubs, which have the potential to score up to 10 points each.
And of course, the big story this year is Germany's Thomas Dietz coming out of retirement after 6 years. He was the undefeated overall champion 4 years in a row from 2005 to 2008. Does he still have what it takes now at 32 years old? He's up against the 2012 overall champ Doug Sayers and the 2013 champ Jonah Botvinnik Greenhouse, the youngest overall champ in history at just 14 years old, now 15. Neither of these overall champions have ever competed against each other, so this is going to be a battle of champions.
So before we get to the final 3 events, let's check out what went down in the endurance competitions.
Starting with the 9-ball endurance competition, third place went to Germany's Thomas Dietz for 21 catches. Second place went to Christian Hauschild, also from Germany, for 23 catches. And first place went to USA's Doug Sayers for a WJF record 49 catches of 9 balls. Each of these endurance competitions awards 1 point for first place, 0.5 points for second place, and 0.25 points for third place.
This year, the ring endurance started and ended at 8 rings.
Lauge Benjaminsen from Denmark received third place with 30 catches of 8 rings.
Thomas Dietz in second with 31 catches, the only competitor who can't hold 4 rings in his right hand, so he grabs the last ring from his crotch.
And he's gotten very good at doing that. But in first place, on his first and only attempt, Christian Hauschild wins with 33 catches. Thomas Dietz barely won the 7-club endurance by beating Christian Hauschild by only 1 catch, 34 to 35 catches. Doug Sayers fell way behind with only 16 catches to receive third place. Not a bad display of 7-club juggling, but keep in mind Vova Gilchenko still holds the WJF endurance record with 130 catches of 7 clubs, which he set in 2008. So after the endurance competitions wrapped up, Christian Hauschild was in first place with an 8.25, Doug Sayers in second with a 7.5, and Thomas in third place with a 6.75. Let's check back in and see how those martial artists are doing. Oh, they've moved on to weapons now. We have some time to recap the freestyle competitions.
Starting with the 5-ball freestyle event, Thomas Dietz received third place for 2 high, middle, low shower 360s.
Very old school move here, 0 on originality, and only difficult enough to get third place out of 3.
Second place went to Lauge Benjaminsen for a 5-up 1080.
Also no originality, but very, very hard. All 5 balls in the air and spinning your body around 3 times.
First place went to Doug Sayers for a blind catch connected to 5 throws behind the back.
Thomas Dietz did not make it to the top 3 in the 6-ball freestyle competition. So Lauga Benjaminson secured 3rd place with 2 connected B97531s connected to a B97522 360. Those numbers refer to different throw heights. As you can see, each ball is thrown at a different height. Our CGI department will help you learn this terminology as it gets a little more complicated.
Christian Hauschild attempts a harder version of that same move, executing 4 B97531s before connecting the same B97522 360 and receiving 2nd place for that.
But true originality and difficulty prevailed as a 15-year-old from the U.S. takes 1st place with an 8844 shoulder throw combo connected to a 4-up 360.
There was no shortage of impressive moves in the 7-ball freestyle competition, such as Lauga Benjaminson's multiplex combinations and connections to a DB97531, Thomas Dietz's 2 connected 8x6 360s, multiplexes connected to a 360 by Doug Sayers, Thomas Dietz's 8x6 360 connected to a 96666, but 3rd place went to Doug Sayers for 7 back cross throws. Thomas Dietz in 2nd place with a DB97522 360, and Lauga Benjaminson in 1st place with 3 connected DB97531s.
Toby Walker displayed several freestyle point-worthy connections in the 5-ring freestyle competition, starting with a 5-up 180 connected to one-sided overhead throws, connected to a half shower, half pancakes, and then in a separate attempt, pancake throws connected to one-sided overhead throws, and you can see just how difficult of a connection that is with one transitional throw caught as a pancake, thrown as an overhead. So the judges determined Toby's most valuable move was connection of one-handed overheads to a pancake half shower, and then connected to a 3-up 360.
The judges gave Thomas 2nd place for what they consider to be 2 connected over and back double 180s connected to a 360. However, each move was separated by 1 setup throw, which means Thomas included an extra throw in between each move to make it easier to connect them together by allowing him to start each move with his dominant hand, and that, by definition, is not a connection. Connections must not contain any setup throws, so I'd like to retroactively take his 0.5 points away, but let's first see if it'll make a difference.
You sure? You like being king, don't you?
I wrote the rules. I just expect
rules.
People to follow them.
Sure.
I'm not making things up here.
Take 0.5 away. I don't care. Go ahead.
And demonstrating a true connection, 1st place went to Doug Sayers for this incredible connection of pancake throws to back crosses, 2 of the most difficult moves you can do with rings, connected together.
There were several high-caliber moves in the 6-ring freestyle competition that were not as good as the moves that scored 3rd place, but you should still want to watch them. Jonah Botvinnik Greenhouse demonstrated a flawless 6-up 360. Nothing compared to what he'll soon get 2nd place for. Doug Sayers debuted a new connection with a 4-up sink 90 into flat front throws, and Thomas didn't do anything. But in 3rd place, Doug Sayers pulls off a 4-up 360 connected to flat front throws. Jonah Botvinnik Greenhouse earns 2nd with a 6-up 360 connected to a 1-high 4-low 360, and Toby Walker takes 1st place with a balance connected to a 4-up 360.
Toby then took 3rd in the 7-ring freestyle competition with a 6th-ring qualifier with a balance of the 7th ring. Jonah Botvinnik Greenhouse earned 2nd place for a 7-up 360.
And getting a thumbs up from Thomas. At least I think that was a thumb.
1st place went to Thomas Dietz for 2 connected 5-up 360s.
15-year-old Jonah Botvinnik Greenhouse demonstrated extraordinary potential in the 5-club freestyle competition. Look at how controlled his 5-club single rotations are, and then connects that to a 5-up 360, still all in single rotations, just higher to allow time to spin, and then resumes single rotations that takes incredible control.
Doug Sayers also demonstrated impressive control over 5-club single rotations, connecting that to a 3-up 720 in triple rotations. But Doug didn't end that one completely clean. However, he did qualify the pattern with 10 catches before it exploded.
Well, after that incredible display, only 3 moves made it into the top 3. Toby Walker owned the 3rd place spot with a 3-up 180 connected to overheads. Doug Sayers in 2nd with back crosses connected to a 3-up back cross 360. And Jonah Botvinnik Greenhouse in first place with a 9.7522 360 out of singles, all in singles, and connected back to singles.
There were slim pickings in the 6-club freestyle competition. Doug received third place for a 4-up 360 connected to no more juggling. Christian Hauschild received second place for doing what the judges determined to be a sloppier version of Thomas's first place move. And sloppier than Thomas is really hard to do. Both Christian and Thomas connected two 9.555s to a 7.5. The 7-club freestyle is barely worth mentioning, except it earned Thomas, and only Thomas, a full point for barely squeezing out a 9.66 and then stopping immediately. He literally threw a 9.66 and nothing more. That earned Thomas a full point, but more importantly, a hug from an American.
And after all the freestyle events concluded, Thomas Dietz and Doug Sayers are now tied in first place with 11.25 points each. Christian Hauschild in third with 9.25.
This could not have been scripted for a movie any better. The two top competitors tied in first place going into the final 3 events, with a 17-year-old newcomer in a close third. But very much unlike a movie, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the 2014 UMBO World Juggling Federation Overall Championship from SkillCon in Las Vegas. The 4-time undefeated champion Thomas Dietz tied with the 2012 champion Doug Sayers. These final 3 events will determine the champion of the champions.
And first up in the 5-ball short program, Thomas Dietz. Thomas Dietz made his mark at the very first WJF competition in 2004.
No one does this move, and he does it for a very long time. A little crooked, but he's doing it for a long time. Just astonishing.
He didn't win, but he returned just 1 year later to become the first recipient of the WJF Overall Championship title and remained undefeated 4 years in a row. He was an unstoppable force with dropless performances. Nobody came close to beating him during his reign. But non-stop training at the highest and most physically taxing levels with compromised form resulted in back and shoulder injuries that caused him to retire in 2008.
Man, look how tilted he is. Now you see with that crooked shoulder? He throws with his whole body. Yeah, what is with that left arm? It looks like it's not attached right.
You notice he stands a little crooked. One shoulder is higher than the other shoulder.
He does.
Although he won the overall championship at WJF5, his abilities were deteriorating and his frustration was apparent.
What's up? Oh, please. No, come on.
Thomas announced his retirement just after winning his 4th overall championship title.
I retire from the competitions, so I never will compete again.
That's my last WJF. It's my last competition here. This year it hurts a lot in the back and in the wrist, and I think I have to stop.
After a guest appearance at WJF9 in 2013 and an announcement of a $7,000 cash prize for WJF10, Thomas announced he would compete the following year. Now, Thomas has returned to Las Vegas to compete at the event that launched his career 10 years ago. It's uncertain if his injuries have healed or if he's been able to maintain the level of training necessary to compete against the likes of Doug Sayers. Will he remain undefeated, or was it a mistake to come out of retirement?
I love the fact that he can be that good and that sloppy. I don't want him to get injured, but boy, do I love the fact that there's a little bit of funk in his juggling. You know, when you hear music and stuff, it's often the little slight stylistic mistakes that are great. And I love that he's lopsided and he just throws things and catches them. There's no perfection. I love that.
Technically, he would be much better, though, if he didn't embed that bad technique with his form. It is limiting.
Sure.
For his potential was limited because
when
of
Frank
that.
Zappa plays guitar, he also plays with that hunched finger system that also slows it down. When Thomas is juggling, you know it's hard.
and
when
you
other
know,
people are juggling, it can look easier.
Yeah, he does make it look difficult. And I guess if you lined up 10 people and you put masks on all of them, you could tell which one was Thomas.
Yeah, he's got a style. I like that. I think it's not the smartest way to live, but it's a beautiful thing to watch. Man,
Those are connected 9-7-5-3-1s. So the 9 is the highest throw, which is thrown first, and the 1 is just the hand across, just that ball that's handed from right to left. And they come down in the opposite order that they're thrown. The first ball thrown is caught
But that's
last.
just physics.
It is physics, but most basic juggling patterns are linear in that the first object thrown is the first object caught. And in the 9-7-5-3-1, each throw gets progressively lower so that the first ball thrown is the last ball caught, and the last ball thrown is the first one caught. And then we've also heard DB 9-7-5-3-1, which is with 7 balls. The D represents a 13 and the B represents an 11. So there's another version with a 720. Now that was a 9-7-5-2-2, and the 2s each represent a hold when a ball could have been thrown but instead was just held on to while he was spinning. Now there's a 3-up 180 connected to an over and back double 180. I believe I patented that move.
Yeah, you
but,
did.
Everybody's doing that now.
The throwing down with disgust.
Throwing the balls down in disgust, yeah. Everyone's doing that now. Those are his over and back double 180s.
Now, he does lose points for the lack of form, right?
Yeah, for each unintentional movement of the feet, each catch that's out of the optimal catching position, and possibly for each throw with a crooked shoulder, the B jury, the deduction judges, may deduct points.
To the casual observer, it was a very tight routine, not a lot of flaws. Are you happy with your routine?
More than this, it was dropless, so I was thinking 3 drops, but without it,
Dropless.
yeah, I'm really happy right now.
0 drops, 8.67, so now he's got an overall score of 19.92.
I'm just saying, if you get 0 drops, your form is perfect. That's my point.
Yeah, that's that binary circus mentality where there's only 2 things that can happen, drops or catches. But if you think of it like gymnastics, there's more than just landing on your feet or falling down. Now this is Jonah Botman at Greenhouse. Keep in mind he's 15 years old. He's the youngest competitor here. And look at how smooth his throws are.
His form is perfect.
Look at all that. Look at his shoulders. Look at how even they are.
Yeah.
A couple throws here and there might go slightly out of the ideal catching range, but it's usually just 1 at a time.
Now, what is the feeling on the white or the yellow in the color? Why does Thomas use yellow and he uses white? Isn't there one that's better for visibility?
I always felt white. Yellow is a close second.
Oops.
Yeah, that's a great connection there. He's doing a 6-4-X connected right into overhead throws, and he changes the pattern to accommodate that alternating pattern.
Nice.
And you just see how you can't even tell those high throws are coming up, right? I mean, with Thomas, you see some jumping and some extra effort. They just kind of fly out of Jonah's hands and go up at the height he needs.
He had 1 drop.
Yeah, just 1 drop and a very difficult routine. So here's that transition, and then a little bit higher to syncopate the pattern.
Boy, the syncopation's amazing.
Yeah. And then connected to a 9-7-5-360.
So you just finished your ball routine, and there was 1 droppage, but you were able to regain focus and get through the rest of your routine. What was going through your mind when that happened?
In these competitions, drops happen a lot. A flawless routine isn't really what happens most of the time. What Thomas did was very amazing, and 1 drop I'm very happy with.
The resolution of cognitive dissonance demonstrated there in that move.
It is rare to see completely drop-free routines in these competitions. The skill level is
and I like this the guy that doesn't have the good form either.
Now pay attention to all these connections. Doug has the most difficult and never-ending sequences of connections I've ever seen. He has a lot of connections planned in this routine. Scary connections, like moves that you'd be happy to just do by themselves.
Oh, nice.
So there he just ended a sequence of side swap connections from 180s and then ending with a 3-up 720. There's that over and back double 180 connected to 9-7-5-3-1s. Hey, these are risky connections. He's having some trouble with them right now. There's, of course, the obligatory shower pattern. Connecting a shower pattern to back cross throws. That's an original connection. So see how he has to change the pattern. Oh, and a 360.
Yeah, right in the middle of the connection, you do a 360. Just to show the connection was too easy for him.
I think that deserved a lot more applause than it got. That's years of practice right there just for that connection. So now that's the second connection to back crosses, that time connected from a 5-up 360.
What is the feeling on stopping in between as opposed to dropping?
Stopping, it's fine to stop and prepare yourself for the next sequence of moves, much like a gymnast does in their floor routine. And you'll see them do a pass with a whole bunch of moves connected together, and just before they take a moment to set themselves up. So it's the same thing here, and in some cases it helps to get some of your strength back.
Well, there's the move you do, man.
That's the blind catch. I debuted the blind catch 10 years ago with 5 balls in this very competition.
Now the stopping, do you lose points for stopping?
No. No points lost for stopping, as long as it's an intentional stop. I mean, there's a difference between a stop and an abort. I mean, if you're in the middle of a move and clearly it's not going well and you stop, there's deductions for that.
Oh, that's a nice. What was that you just did?
He just connected an over and back double 180 into 3 connected 9-7-5-3-1s. So that shower pattern connected to the 360 connected to the back crosses.
Yeah, nice.
And those back crosses scare me only because they're crossing behind his head, which increases the chances of it actually hitting your head as opposed to lining it up behind your shoulders. And there's that 5-up 360.
Yeah.
See how those balls come right from behind his head instead of lined up with his shoulder, which is the safer way to do it. But he's gotten good at doing it that way, and you probably like that better because that lets you know that that's him doing it.
Yeah, it also looks like it's popping out of his head.
Yeah.
And that's visually better. You got balls popping out of your head. That's a good trick.
That was a very fluid routine, lots of connected moves. Were there any moves in your routine that were not connected?
Well, I didn't connect the over and back double 180 to a 9-7-5-3-1 at first, so I just went back at the end. Hopefully I still get credit for it.
At this point, I'm sure you've spent countless hours with this particular routine. How much of this performance would you say is muscle memory versus something like extreme concentration when you get to the stage?
It's pretty much extreme concentration the whole time.
No, it's not. It's muscle memory. He's lying at that point. Just so you know, he's lying.
If it's muscle memory, then you've really got it down. If it's extreme concentration, then you're probably, you're thinking too hard.
Yeah. We'll be back with more of the 2014 UMBA World Juggling Federation Overall Championship from SkillCon, the ultimate skills convention, after this. Welcome back to the 2014 UMBA World Juggling Federation Overall Championship from SkillCon in Las Vegas. We are continuing with the short programs for 5 balls. Up next is Lauga Benjaminson.
Lauga starting with the passing zone pretzel, having some trouble with that first move. It's tough to recover from a drop on the first move. 21 years old, the only competitor from Denmark.
Well, that's enough.
Yeah, you only need one.
One competitor from Denmark is plenty.
The 6x4 5-up 360. Nice, connecting 6x4 into a 3-up 720. I like how he floated those last 2 throws of the 6x4 a little higher so he could change the pattern for the 3-up 720.
Yeah.
He's got some of the fastest 360s of all the competitors.
It certainly looks easier when he spins than when Thomas Dietz spins.
Yeah.
When Thomas Dietz spins, he's working.
Well, it almost seems like...
That's really nice. What is that?
That's the 9-7-5-3-1, connected to a 1-high 4-low 360.
Yeah, it's really nice. You know, I've told you this before, Jason, but I don't like 360s. I think they're not part of the juggling. All they are is proving to you that you can look away and then look back. I like the juggling to be the objects and not the person.
I agree to some extent. It seems jugglers were doing 360s when I got into it, so I just kind of accepted it as part of juggling, but it really has nothing to do with juggling other than, like you said, it's proving that you're making perfect throws.
Yeah. Which is a lot of juggling, but to me it's a little bit off book. It's a little bit off subject.
Well, you could also do a backflip. There's your slow motion 9-7-5-3-1. It's connected to the 1-high 4-low 360. Pretty good execution of that. Just took 1 step out of place, and there he is going back to where he started. So at least he knows. I like competitors that have a sense of centering.
Yeah, I like that he pulls his arms in like he's a figure skater.
Right. Well, that's probably why he spins faster than most.
So there were several droppages in your routine. I'm sure it wasn't for lack of practice. When something like that happens, how do you get back into the state of mind where you know you have to continue, and how do you regain your concentration?
Well, you know, you get nervous getting here, so you just have to slap yourself and go on.
Slap yourself and go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I've lived my life. Slap myself and go on.
If it's a choice between that or quitting, you slap yourself and you go on. So here's Christian Hauschild, 17 years old, like Thomas Dietz, also from Germany.
And he starts sideways.
Starts sideways. You notice a lot of competitors, when they're doing 180s, they like to show that move from the side.
Sure. So they don't show their back on the audience as long.
That's a common connection, the 5-up 360 into 744.
And when they do a 90, you turn back around.
Yeah, they usually just kind of saunter around while they're juggling. Yeah. But some jugglers have actually developed ways to throw the balls or the clubs or rings so that they can do a 90.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a couple of competitors have 90s planned in their routines.
Great. I got a little sloppy there, but nice.
There's another connection to 744 from a 1 high 4 low 5-up 360. That's a pretty easy connection. Nothing in the pattern really changes. The arms stay in the same position. The high scoring connections are the ones where your throwing position changes, like connecting back crosses to overhead throws. We saw in the endurance competitions, he's already juggling 7 clubs, better than most. And at 17 years old, that is an accomplishment.
Yeah, at 60, that's an accomplishment. I love this.
High-low shower pattern.
Yeah, I just love the catching out of order of the throws. Too much spinning on that boy, though. Too much spinning.
Too much spinning, too much bowing. But other than that, very clean execution. There's that 1 high 4 low 5-up 360 connected to 744, and you can see that's an effortless connection.
Well, it went better than the practice ones, I would say.
Now, I've been told that this is your very first WJF competition. How much time did you spend reviewing any of the footage from previous WJF events?
A lot of time.
A lot of time.
Yeah, a lot of time. I'm so happy right now.
Very cool.
It's perfect.
Very cool, perfect.
Yeah. It was not the hardest routine, but it was clean and no drops, no deductions, maybe a few foot movements, but yeah.
So Christian played it a little safe. That's why you notice his score is around a 6.41, but it's pretty close to a perfect 6.41. His start value probably wasn't much higher than that.
Mm-hmm. You know, we've seen a lot of juggling so far, but there's a lot more going on at SkillCon. The Las Vegas Open Yo-Yo Championship brought top players from North America to compete for a seed in the semifinals at the 2015 World Yo-Yo Contest in Tokyo. Kai Zizin took home top honors in the 1A freestyle with a tightly choreographed routine that left every single player on their feet and roaring for more. Joseph Harris and Hank Freeman won the 2A and 3A divisions, respectively. West Coast player Michael Nakamura won the off-string division with a nearly flawless routine, and U.S. national champion Jake Elliott crushed the counterweight division. The Dexterity Dance League brought the best tutting style dancers from around the world to compete and learn at SkillCon. Tutting is a dance style developed in the 90s where geometric shapes and illusions are created with fingers, hands, arms, or legs to music. Mitch Kaufman took the crown in the finger styles bracket, and California's Scoot won the all styles division. But the exhibition battle between two judges, New York's Ty Fingers and Finger Circus crew member Peanut, was the highlight of the night. You may have seen Peanut in Taylor Swift's Shake It Off music video. If not, I'm sure you're looking that up right now. If you thought juggling was a bit niche, well, it's probably still the nichiest. We'll be back with more of the 2014 Umba World Juggling Federation Overall Championships right after this. Welcome back to the 2014 Umba World Juggling Federation Overall Championship from SkillCon in Las Vegas. We are now ready to start the short programs for rings. First up is Thomas Dietz.
Ready, Boba. All right, and we'll start.
And you can see Thomas doesn't mess around with turning to the side for his 180, so he's more focused on the moves than showing them at the best angle. And you notice he's wearing gloves. He's the only competitor to wear gloves to protect his hands from the rings. That's really nice. Pancake throws over the top, oriented to the side, connecting that to 6x4. That X, by the way, that signifies the direction of the throw. The X means it crosses, since a 6 by itself does not cross. Well, that's a similar connection to what Lauge did with 5 balls, that 6x4 connected to the 3-up 720. There's a pancake throws. This is one of the most difficult moves that you can do with rings, to flip them like
pucks. Well, it's because rings aren't made to do that. Once again, you're fighting physics.
Well, you know, rings are really just meant to be plastic. After that, it's pretty much what you're forcing them to do.
Right.
Those are pancakes connected. It was an attempt at a connection to a half shower, and I guess that ring was closer to him than the one he dropped, so he sashayed over to that one. I have a cat that walks like him a little bit. He's turning.
That turning was okay. That wasn't a 360 that was turning. That's okay with me.
Yeah, but I don't know why he turned. I mean, there's no points for turning while you do it. He kind of looks like he's fighting with the rings a little bit there. Yeah, this is starting to fall apart now, and you can tell he's rushing now because he didn't wait to catch that ring before starting the 360, so he just kind of slapped it to the ground. And this is just the case of one drop turning into many, you know, because you realize that you're running out of time, so you start rushing to get it all in, but, you know, you can't rush gravity, and even the best jugglers forget that in competition. Well, he nailed that. That was a 975-22-720. He's thinking about what he's going to do next, I suppose, and decides not to lose any more points. So just cut his losses there. Now that's a unique pancake throw. That's, instead of throwing it from the front, that's throwing it over the top.
Yeah.
With it oriented to the side, and then he connects that to 6x4. And I think you'll see the same thing here. You see that pancake throw going over the top.
Nice.
So that's essentially a pancake half shower connected to 6x4. Only 4.81 for that routine, though. A lot of mistakes, though, so those drops probably took him down quite a bit.
Yeah, so much for does a perfect routine, but does a sloppy thing.
Yeah. Moving on now to Jonah Botvinnik Greenhouse. You know, it's also pretty impressive that Jonah, at just 15 years old, is also competing in all three categories, you know, balls, rings, and clubs. And he stands to the side when he does his ring routine, so he cares what the audience sees. And it also helps minimize point deductions by hiding the rings if they might be wobbly. You can't tell that from the side as much as you can from the front. There's Jonah going for pancake throws. Everyone's doing pancake throws now. Remember 10 years ago, there was only one guy doing pancake throws, Sergei Ignatov Jr., and that was like the big move. And he did back crosses with one hand and shoulder throws with one hand. And now everybody's doing pancakes and connections with pancakes. Look at those connections. So it's a 6x4, 5-up 360 connected to a 3-up 360. It's a 3-up 720. A little bit of trouble on the re-entry there, but see, that's the difference between stopping and aborting. That was an abort because his pattern was falling apart.
Yeah.
So he did it again, and look at that. Much better the second time, 3-up 720. Sticks the landing. There's a 90. You see that 90 where he threw three rings up?
Now, how did the judges react when you miss a trick and then try it again and do it?
You'll get the deductions for the mistake, but you'll get the points for the move if you execute it the second time. So you can try as many times as you want. You'll just accumulate deductions while you keep trying. That's that 90 connected to the full reverse, which is a really nice connection because the rings stay oriented along the same plane.
So Jonah gets a 6.35 and now with an overall score of 18.14.
Now, Doug's got some amazing connections. There's a 360 connected to pancake throws. And then from the pancakes connected to a 180, connected to 744. And he's probably not done yet. He's probably going to connect to something else after that, to a half shower. Okay, so now that was a mistake in a sequence of moves, so it's interesting to see where he'll start again, which is from the 744 into the half shower. You notice the way he stops, he catches the rings on the outside of his hands as opposed to the inside. That at first when I saw that looked risky, but I tried it and it's actually a safer way to stop to collect the rings. Look at that, 5-up 360 connected to pancake throws. And a really long run of really nice pancake throws. Pancakes again, connected to the full reverse. Look at that 3-up 360 in a full reverse and back to a full reverse. I think he qualified the pattern before that drop, so he doesn't need to do that again. He'll just get the deductions for that drop and probably move on to his next sequence. Look at those flat throws. I have never seen anybody do that. And, oh, See how he tried to stick the landing, though? Even though his arm was way out away from his body, he tried not to move his feet.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 throws of that, or 11 throws of that, and then back into the pattern. And then back crosses with rings. I mean, Doug has taken the skill of rings up several notches, and I hope more people are inspired by this routine and just seeing what's possible with rings. I mean, from back crosses to his pancake connections and the flat throws, this is ring juggling unlike any that we've seen here before. So here's that. Notice he starts with the left hand for the 5-up 360 so that when he comes around, he can start the pancakes with his dominant hand. And that's the way connections are supposed to be constructed, so that you have to do at least one of the moves from your less dominant hand. Sure. That's my diabolical way of increasing the skill level in juggling, because that applies to a lot of other things that you need that skill for.
Well, you're always fighting to make your dominant hand not that much more dominant.
Right. But you also always favor it.
Yep.
For those flat throws.
Beautiful.
.57 for Doug Sayers, bringing his overall score up to a 25.98.
He was the best.
Doug is in the lead. Thomas in second place now by just a difference of a little more than a point. So Thomas has one more chance to get ahead with the 5-club short program when we come back.
Welcome back to the 2014 UMBA World Juggling Federation Overall Championship from SkillCon in Las Vegas. We're continuing with the short programs for 5 rings. Up next is Toby Walker.
Toby, I always like watching Toby juggle, even though he's never won. He doesn't always have the cleanest routines. There's just something about his robotic nature that I really like.
Yeah, you're a more robotic guy than me.
So there's a half shower with the lower throw thrown as a pancake.
This is really pretty. That was a really pretty one.
Yeah, that was the opposite of Thomas's half shower pancakes. He was doing a pancake with the lower throws, yeah.
Which I think is probably easier but looks nicer.
Now, if you could do both, I'd like to see that. Pancakes over the top, pancakes on the bottom. I'm not so sure that's easier because of the way you're catching that high throw.
Yeah.
That's a difficult transition.
But it's beautiful. It's really one of the most beautiful of the tricks.
More pancakes, just basic pancake throws.
I like pancakes, in both senses.
That's a difficult connection. 3-up 180 connected to one-sided overhead throws.
I tell you, his tricks look the best to me. You know, the moves he's choosing to do are the most aesthetically pleasing, just visually.
Yeah, and you can tell he's also put a lot of thought into the connections, which moves to connect together. And you can see he's having difficulty with them because he's chosen some of the most difficult moves to connect together.
Is he turning them over in between to change the colors?
I think that just happens when he drops them and picks them up facing the other direction. It's a 2-stage 720. All 5 up, spin once on the first 2, and a pancake neck catch. Never scores any points, but for some reason we feel compelled to do that. From years of performing, and we know audiences go crazy for that pancake neck catch. We can't not stop juggling rings without doing a pancake neck catch. But speaking of pancakes, there's that half shower with the pancake throws on the bottom.
Yeah, I like that better than over the top.
You got to come up with a better name for that than the one with the pancake throws on the bottom. There it is again, from another angle, that half shower, pancake throws. Connected to a 3-up 360. Now it's no longer beautiful, we're just sick of seeing it.
Yeah.
6.96 for Toby Walker, bringing his overall score up to a 12.11.
So there you see Toby is unfortunately in last place, and the remainder of this competition is going to be between Doug and Thomas. This is Thomas's last chance to get his points high enough to get back on top. Starting with 5-club flats, going into singles, and into flats. Wow, did you notice that quick correction there? The club was caught the wrong way, and within a millisecond he just corrected. It's the handle to go on his hand. Having some trouble with back crosses. This is a move he really used to have down solid. I mean, he walked around in a circle intentionally while doing it, and now he's just trying to qualify it in his old age.
He's walking all the way down to the stratosphere there, isn't he?
He's walking and wiggling his way through to a qualifying run of 5 club back crosses. There's a 9.75 360 with the 5 as a flat throw. 3 up 360. 5 up 360. You notice nobody's applauding for that at all. 10 years ago, that was the big move. If anyone did that, people would have passed out. Now people are sick of seeing it. And then the connection into singles, which explodes on him.
It really did explode nicely.
It was a nice explosion because they all kind of stayed close within range, so he didn't look like he was chasing a chicken to pick him up, and got him back up fast. There was a 3 up connected to singles and got it that time. Thomas is having a lot of trouble here toward the end of his routine, struggling to force this 6x4 pattern and attempting a 360 within the 6x4 pattern. And now just losing his concentration and not able to even start a basic pattern. So he's skipping that first connection and now trying to connect the 6x4 to 744, which he does manage to do. And going back to 744 now. Just doing it once without a connection. And that's it. A little anticlimactic, but he was probably trying to minimize deductions toward the end. All right, so there's that 6x4 3 up 360, and it just looks like so much work. I mean, his whole body is burning every calorie it can find. You can't do this routine on salads alone.
Are you going to come back to compete next year?
No. So in 2008, I was quit doing competitions, and I think that's really my last one. So I had 6.5 years without competitions. I was thinking, okay, come back only for 1 year. Yeah, with my friends together and my girlfriend. Woo! So that's the last one. Sorry, guys.
So 3.59 for Thomas Dietz's 5-club short program.
Doug only has to get about 3.5, 4 points to take first place. So unless he has a complete train wreck, he should be in first place.
When we come back, Doug Sayers just might become the first person in history to defeat Thomas Dietz, and we'll see Doug's final routine right after this.
Welcome back to the 2014 UMBA World Juggling Federation Overall Championship from SkillCon in Las Vegas.
All right, this is it, the last routine of the competition. Doug only has to score 2.35 points or higher to jump ahead of Thomas to first place, but I'm pretty sure he's going to attempt his full routine anyway. Starting with back crosses for a very long time.
What are those, triples? Or?
Those are triple back crosses, and he starts in triples with his basic pattern so that the timing doesn't change. 6x4. This is one of my favorite connections, that 6x4. Jonah did that connection to overhead throws with the 5 balls. So Doug is trying 6x4, and notice how he has to change the pattern, and then he goes right into back crosses.
Yeah.
Look at that. And those back crosses are in doubles now, so he does it in doubles and triples. I don't think he quite qualified it.
That stop was an abort.
That was an abort, yeah. He didn't quite get that. So he's moving on. This is, I think, the 3rd year in a row he's tried that transition and failed. And every year I really hope to see it. And there's a serious abort there, catching all the clubs upside down because they were going too wide. We'll try that again, starting in singles. And I believe this is going to be a 3 up, 360 in singles, yep, and back to singles.
Wow.
And there he controls that. Look how tight those are. That's why you need thin clubs. You see how close those clubs are coming to each other. You don't want big, fat fiberglass clubs when you're doing that. Back to back crosses again in doubles now. Probably gonna.
Well, why would he do the back crosses again if he's already qualified?
He's doing. You can do each move twice if one of the times is connected to another move.
I see.
So he's connected back crosses from doubles to triples there. He still didn't get that first connection, but he did also start with back crosses and triples, so it does seem like he's done back crosses more times than you should get points for, but there he's trying that connection again. So that's one of the things, is you can always go back, and if the judges are following along, they'll give you the points for it, and there he did qualify it. So he finally, after 3 years of trying to get that connection in competition, he finally got it on his last attempt, and there it is again. Look at that. Look at how that last club just comes right into his hand, that handle perfectly placed so that he can go into back crosses. If there's anything not set up right in any one of those throws, there's millions of things that can go wrong with that, and only one thing that can really go right. So to get that right in competition is impressive. Look at how those two clubs just come right down perfectly set up for back crosses. I'm going to just say that's my favorite connection of all time.
Really?
Yeah, I really like that connection.
Do you feel this last performance tipped the scales for you in terms of scoring?
It was pretty good. I didn't do one of my tricks just because I thought it was too hard before I actually came out here. So we'll see how the judges score. I'm just excited to be done with it.
And if you had to guess at your placement in the competition, where would you place yourself?
Hopefully second, possibly first. But I'd be happy with third as well.
Oh, come on, nobody's happy with third. But he did get a 4.16, which puts him over the top for the first year. Thomas Dietz has been defeated, coming out of retirement only to tarnish his otherwise perfect winning streak.
And there are the final results in the 2014 UMBA World Juggling Federation Championship. Christian Hauschild in third place with a 22.34, Thomas Dietz in second place with a 28.32, and Doug Sayers taking first place for the USA with a 30.14. An incredible display at the highest level of juggling. These competitors continue to raise the bar every year, and this year all that hard work paid off for Doug Sayers, proving once and for all who is the champion of champions. Now with 2 titles under his belt, can he continue to reign and surpass Thomas Dietz's 4-year run? Only time will tell, and remember, Jonah Botman at Greenhouse and Christian Hauschild are just getting started. Wait until you see what these 2 competitors can do next year. This year was incredible. I'm Adam Candy along with Penn Jillette and Jason Garfield. We thank you for watching.
From SkillCon at the soon-to-be-imploded Riviera Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada, this has been the 2014 UMBA World Juggling Federation Overall Championship. An incredible 8 days of skills and events, and the first ever $7,000 prize being awarded to a juggler. Be on the lookout for combat juggling, the most deadly juggling you'll ever see, right here on ESPN.